Good morning. The sun is just coming up, um, but I'm here with a special person, and we want to share a special message this morning. I'm Sandra Miller, Biohacking Wellness and the Chakra Code. And this time of year, one of the things that we have realized, hold on, I have a puppy who wants to be part of this. One of the things that we've realized with each other, with friends of ours, that this is a time that's supposed to be joyful. And so many people are hurting, they're sad, they're grieving, they've suffered losses in the past, or they're suffering losses right now. And it's just really heartbreaking for us to see each other go through this, but also to see you go through this without support. And because we have a very healing and supportive community, we wanted to give something this season. Instead of asking for something, we're giving something that we think is really, really, really important and special. All throughout the month, up until about the 22nd, I'm going to be bringing on some healing practitioners in the healing arts of all different types, live to you, and recorded sessions that you can get when they're done so that you can replay them over and over again. And we're asking that you share our message, because this is just about healing and how profound sound and mediumship and all of those things can help us move past our grief, because one of the saddest diseases today are diseases of the soul, and there's really no pill for that, but there are solutions. So today, on the brighter side, I am here with Daniela DeCastro and Haley.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Haley.
And Daniela is a very talented, heart-centered psychic and medium. She's a teacher. She's a friend. She's, part of my soul. And I'm so fortunate to have met her. But what I'd like her to do is share to her why she wanted to be here and when we're going to get on live with her, and she's going to share her gift of what that's going to be and when. So Daniela, thanks so much for getting up this early this morning.
Thank you. And if anybody knows me, I'm not a 6 a.m. riser. I can be, but I choose not to.
For a good cause, right?
It is a good cause, and I'm very excited to be here. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I also want to say to you, Sandra, you are truly a gift from heaven. And I mean, you know me, I'm very blunt, and I'm so grateful that you are now in my life. So I really appreciate your project, because this is a special thing for me, because I don't want to say I used to, but I kind of used to really love the holidays, and, with the traditions and everything. It's a way that we're brought up, right? Our culture. And November's a tough month for me. And my favorite holiday was Thanksgiving, out of all, and in the past, but I lost my mom November 8th. So that's something that, years ago. And it's not been quite the same for me, but it's gotten better. It's where I enjoy the holiday, enjoy family and friends. But then last year on Thanksgiving, I lost my best friend. And like my rock, that person that no matter what happens to you, they'll help you out. You need a place to live, come stay with me. You need a car, I have one for you. Just like a real amazing, beautiful human being, which I think the more beautiful some people can be, sometimes the more challenging it is to be in this world. Those truly beautiful people that seem like earth angels.
Mm-hmm.
So they have their challenges. Anyway, and then this year, that was last year, this year I lost not my biological father, but I lost the neighbor 3 doors down. Growing up, my friend and I have been friends since we were 5 years old. And her father was like my favorite dad. And we just always had a very, very special bond. I cried for days. I think I cried Tuesday, Wednesday, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just kept crying and crying like a 2-year-old. I'm not normally overly emotional, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then I got the information Wednesday night, right before Thanksgiving, that he had passed. So oddly enough, it brought a calm. As I read it on Facebook, I was like, what the? And I know that's how I was in the middle of a business meeting, and I needed my laptop up. So I was like, oh my God. But after everything, the dust fell, I contacted my friend, which was very healing. But it gave me a sense of calm because I knew this gentleman, his partner, his wife, passed when I was 19. So it's been a long time. And he was looking forward to going home with her, so to speak. That gave me peace. And, I think it gave us all peace. He wasn't suffering and he's with Donna again, which is awesome. And
And
he actually told me that. He told me that that night that he was happy, he was well, and he's with his wife. So that's always reassuring. I guess that's a good message to give, right?
it is a good message. And that's why I felt it was so important to bring on somebody with mediumship skills, because what I found when I listen to, whether it's readings for others or whatever, when you speak to a medium, a really good, intuitive psychic medium, it can bring closure for so many people. And that's what the passion was for you with this. You've helped bring closure to so many people so that they can sort of move past that grief, which can be crippling,
It's
especially
debilitating. It can be.
especially this time of year. It's almost like it catapults you into those same feelings of when it first happened, and
It does.
it's hard to get past that. And so, because you've had your own experiences, this was a special project for you. So
It
tell
is.
everybody a little bit more about what you do, how to find you, and then I don't know, we've got a schedule for your talk on Sunday. I think is going to be
Right.
your actual, your healing gift is going to be Sunday. And we can come up with a time right here and now if you want, or I can drop it after we're done with this. But what is it you're going to be sharing for people? And we want you to know that this is for anybody. It's absolutely, completely, 100% free. We are going to stream it live on Facebook, but you will be invited by a Zoom link. There's different ways for you to get the information, but it's here for you. It's our gift. So Daniela, what will you be sharing on Sunday?
Okay, if you don't mind, can we back it up a little bit?
Absolutely.
Because things come through me. So as I said that about the healing and I said the word debilitating, because the information comes through really fast, so it could be challenging, but there was a message with it. It could be debilitating, which is blocking, and that interferes because I think, just my belief, everybody has the ability to connect with the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a medium for validation because, like, you'll perhaps hear things, see things, feel things, but you're not sure. You don't know if it's your imagination. And that's the gift of going to a medium, to find out that your mom or your dad, your loved one, your child is really there with you. And what I wanted to say to you when we were talking about the holidays, it does bring everything up fresh. And I think what happens is we miss them so much. And I'm not saying this in a judgy way, but it's a selfish need because they're in a better place, but it stings for us. And because I always say to people, I know my parents are in a better place, but I still want to have morning coffee with my dad. I still want to spend the weekends with them. And absolutely, do I want to spend the holidays with them? Hell yeah, because they made the holiday. Do you know, like their love, their presence.
It might be the tradition that we follow.
Exactly. And then we take, you know what I mean? So it's a new role for us. But I think that's the message. I think that in a nutshell, because realizing that the pain that, you got to focus, and it's our pain. It's not, people get confused and think, are they upset with me because I didn't follow this? Or, were they upset about passing over? Were they afraid? Once they transition and they do it in a healthy fashion, there are different cases. But if they do it in a healthy fashion, move on, they're great. I mean, for the most part, I would say 99% they're great. But it's us. We are here, and this is a challenging place to be. So with mediumship readings, you do get to ask some questions, and it's just healing to know that, like, because sometimes they'll give me messages, like if they pass with dementia, just say, you know what I mean, and they're in and out, it could be consciousness.
Right.
And they'll say, thank you for being there, because their higher self, they know who is in the room. You know what I mean? Like people that could have been gone here for years, they know exactly what went down. There's like a recording or something, a soul recording. I don't know. I don't have all the answers of how it comes, but they know.
Yeah.
And just to, like, people will ask me, are they with blah, blah, blah? like say their husband, their wife. And it's really interesting. This is going to sound a little crazy, but just say sometimes people didn't do so well here together. They're not always on the other side together. That's their choice. So, other people worry about that. Like they really didn't get along. How are they doing in heaven? Sometimes they work it out because their higher selves are just say maybe sweeter, more loving. But
Mhm.
other times they're not together. They
Because
choose
at
not
that point they're enlightened, and when they're here on earth, they may not quite be
right,
as
exactly.
enlightened, and they had a lesson that
Mhm.
needed to be learned. And I think when we're talking about them being together or not together, not being here, being here, one of the things that I think a lot of people still think are a little woo-woo with a lot of this is that they look at this from the perspective of here or there. And
And
when
it's not
they're
true.
there, right, they're not here. But that's not right. That's not true.
And that's a
You're
beauty because they're
always
always here.
here.
They are always here. And I love that. And that's what gets me through. And as the medium, think about it because I can really sense this. Does that mean like I never get sad? No, because we're still human and we still want them here. We still want to experience things. But it brings me a great deal of peace to know that they are with me. And they are like they've come through and told as this is a nice message that people seem to enjoy. There are times before a baby is born, before the baby is conceived, the grandparent on the other side will tell the person I'm reading for, I have your little girl or I have your little boy. And then later, like 3 to 6 months later, I'll get validation that that person is pregnant. I just, and with the same sex that the father said that they had. Like, I love that. It brings so much peace because a lot of people also struggle with my parents or whoever, grandparents, whatever it is, didn't know my child. That is so not true. They had your child before you did.
Yeah. And,
That's one
and
thing. And they're always around us. A lot of times they'll be in the nursery. You'll hear the little musical things go around. Nobody's in the room. They are always with you.
And some
Like,
people feel that. Some people have expressed that they feel their loved one touched them or whatever. But to acknowledge that to most people, if I were to say to most people, oh, I feel this person with me or something, a lot of people think that's crazy. And that's really because of their beliefs. They believe that when you're here, you're here. When you're dead, you're gone, and that's the end. And I think that brings no wonder people are sad and grieving.
well, think about it because that's truly a death.
Right.
You no longer exist. You cease to exist. That's horrifying.
It is
That person that
horrifying.
you really, really loved is gone. Like, gone. I
Yeah.
mean, think about if you had a child, that's a horrible belief system. I mean, everybody has free will, but I can assure you, I have had 2-year-olds come through that recently passed. And it's tricky, and I'll explain this. The 2-year-old that I have in mind, it was obviously said, an unforeseen event, an accident. And I didn't know he was 2 because of the way he was speaking, communicating with me. It was a higher level intellectually.
Hmm.
And I would have thought at least a teenager. And he showed me his death and everything. It was actually quite beautiful. I know that sounds messed up, but it was very beautiful the way through his eyes. It was very beautiful. It was a drowning and it was at sunset, and the way that the water, like the light on the water, was just absolutely gorgeous for him, for a 2-year-old. The mother said a grown-up would be horrified because the
Of
pool was
course.
green.
Of course.
But a child, she could see the way he described his death, and it was very peaceful, and he said it was like going to sleep.
Yeah.
But the reason he was coming through as a teenager, he was 2, but all his siblings, his older brothers, were in their teens, and he wanted to keep up with them. Do you know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
his dream. So
Yeah.
when you pass over, and I always knew this, which is kind of weird, like there's just some knowledge that I think we bring in with us. And I remember telling my mom, like, what age do you want to be? Because you can pick and choose what age. And it's funny because she's never come through at the age she told me of 21. Never.
Ah,
Till this day has not done that. But my father, I never had that conversation. And the first time he came through, he was like 21 or between 17 and 21. And a lot of times in the beginning, he was so energetic, I couldn't keep up. I was in my 30s. I couldn't keep up with him. And I'm like, Dad, you need to slow down, man. I'm in my 30s. You might be 17, but I'm not. So that's another nice thing because people also get stuck in that grief, like the person was rotting away,
oh, and that
suffering
is
from
just, yeah, that is
they
just
take
so
it
not
off like an old
true.
suit that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So like
And that's
there's
the
so much.
message that I think people need to hear this time of year. They need a little hug for their heart that says, it's okay. And, you can help them connect with these people at any time. But I think the message you might help bring this time of year could kind of facilitate that healing for them.
I
In a
would
powerful
like to,
way.
I mean, and we might even if you're depends if you want to do it. Like I can do answer people's questions because and that's I love you said something earlier. Even when you listen to other people get mediumship readings, it's uplifting to you because that's one thing that we say when it's a gallery style reading with a lot of people in there because if I'm giving you a reading, there's a tidbit in there that could be for somebody the next row.
Yeah.
I know when my dad passed away, I drove 2 hours or whatever to go to the hotel. And my family that came with me, once we checked in, everybody like scattered, right? And I'm in the hotel room by myself, just walked in, the TV's on, which was kind of weird. I sit, and it's John Edwards talking to 3 or 4 girls, like sisters, which I'm the fourth girl, and the mother. The father had died. I'm like, what the? Right? The coincidence right there. What the? And I flipped out when he said to one of them, I don't know if it was the youngest one, you were there, but you weren't there. You were there, but you weren't there. And I'm listening because I was with my father. I helped take care of him. But on the day he passed, um, my husband at the time needed to have a business meeting the next day. So I had to drive the 2.5 hours home to watch. My children were very young at the time. I think 1 and 4. And I got home and I explained it to my dad. He was no longer speaking and you could hear the difference in breathing. He was upset that I was leaving. I'd been living there for weeks or months. And what happened was I got to the door and I went back because at first I said, hold on for me, like, wait. So I went back to his bed and I explained everything the same way. I don't know why I felt the need to do that. But I said, Dad, you don't need to wait for me. It's okay to go. And for some reason, he chilled. His breathing was normalized where I felt I could leave at that point. He died. I got home. I watched one movie with my family and the call came. My dad passed away. And in John Edwards' reading, he said that that girl that laughed, same thing happened to her. She laughed for whatever reason. The one daughter,
Yeah.
she'd been there the whole time and left. And she wasn't supposed to be at her father's death because I was struggling with guilt, like I should have not come home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was my message, like through the TV. It wasn't for me, but it was for me. And I knew in my heart, I wasn't really, my father, I was the only one out of 7 kids he couldn't say goodbye to. And that's kind of my fault because I kept making jokes and stuff like that.
And that's the
But
piece
people,
that holds people down is that guilt. Sometimes there's guilt surrounding somebody's death. And that guilt is an energy that you can't destroy energy. It's always there. It's out in your energy field. And it might show up as chest pain or anxiety or back pain or a headache or it's
a
there.
lot of times with the heart, a lot
Yeah,
of, not
sure.
always, but a lot.
Yep. Heart attacks or chest pain or anxiety, shortness of
Yeah.
breath. All of those
But
things
you
are
can transmute it.
energetic in nature. So, we're never going to say you're not, you're not in the right frame of mind to be grieving. But we know that there are ways to be able to move beyond that, to get a better understanding of the world that you live in energetically. You can reach out at any time. And Daniela wants to help with that. So Sunday, Daniela, what's that going to look like?
I was just peeking. Okay, because I have quite a few readings that day.
Hmm.
I could do either early, I could do 2 o'clock, like because I'm going to be free from 1, and then at 5 o'clock I have something going.
So 2 o'clock would work great.
Okay, that would work for you?
Yeah. So 2 o'clock, everybody, on Sunday. What's going to happen is there's going to be a Zoom link posted below this with Daniela's information. So you can reach out to her via her Facebook page or her website, or you can go to my Biohacking Wellness page or the Chakra Code page or my personal profile. It's going to all be put down there, the Zoom link. If you are on that call live, you will get to speak with Daniela, or she will be speaking to you, because again, she gets information, and we don't know what that's going to be until we're all live, right, Daniela? And
Yes, but in the meantime, if they go to my YouTube channel, Daniela DeCastro, what just popped in my head, because it kind of stinks that even if they're grieving or just, you know what I mean, that because anger over loss, some people have anger about being abandoned by the person that passed away, even if it's from illness, a car accident. Your feelings are your feelings. You're not
exactly.
wrong by having your feelings. But there's a video that I have, Hello from Heaven, that I really think might help people just to view. Because I do beg people, like, if you can get past the anger, the sadness, the grief, because we're still going to deal with those, right? But one of the things that makes me happy is connecting with it. Like the other night, I was missing my friend, and I felt him with me, like laying in bed next to me. I felt his energy, and I think the reason I was thinking about him, like, even though Thanksgiving moves, do you mind if I share a story? I thought this was really cool. His mother called me up, hysterical, crying, and he's done this twice. On Thanksgiving, her ex-husband was over, and another kid was over, and when it was just her and her ex-husband talking about him, all of a sudden the pool lights did a laser show, switching color, and they weren't on. You know what I mean? They don't do that. So it was a laser show, and she got, plus the bubbles, she said it was going crazy, so she thought the water level was too low. So she's in very good shape, and she went over to the pool, got on her hands and knees, and she's looking. The water level is perfectly fine. There's no reason that it should be percolating, bubbling up. And after everybody went home, after the holiday, meaning days later, because they flew in from Seattle, when everybody went home, she was talking to him out back, by the pool, and she was very sad, and she was crying and saying how much she missed him, what a great son he was, and all this. It was a deep conversation between them. The bubbles started happening again, and the laser show started happening. And this time, even more powerful. And then she said it would calm down, and she would say something else. Like she told him that she forgave him for crossing over, and a laser show started again. It calmed down because she was out there for hours. She said, she asked him a question because he had been engaged. That's how I got to know him. And his fiance died shortly, like days before their wedding, a car accident.
Mm.
And he was great. Obviously, this was his love. And that's how he was one of my clients and became my best friend. And she asked him if he met on the other side with his fiance. And a light show started again.
Oh.
Which I asked a medium, because as a medium, again, we all want validation, right? So when somebody's so near and dear to you, I can receive their information when it's for me. But as a human being, I prefer to receive it from another medium, just so I don't think I'm making it up in my head.
Yeah,
Just like everybody else, right?
validation.
Like everybody else.
More validation for sure.
Right.
So we are really happy that you came on with us today. Wanted to introduce you to Daniela. Sunday, what is that? The 8th?
That seems far out, but give me a second. It might be. Yes, you're right. The
It
8th.
is. That's the day
Wow,
after the workshop. So Sunday, December 8th at 2 p.m. Daniela will be live. She will be reading for you. We hope you join us, and what we do helps you. We are the fabric of the universe. We were always here and we always will be. And we need to learn our connectedness and our divinity in order to be happy on this
Bring
planet.
peace. Now, can we maybe, before we wrap up on that day on Sunday, you want to do a little energy shifting for people?
Sure, absolutely. Whatever it is that
Those
you
might
want
be
to do,
helpful.
we will absolutely do that. And there's going to be people live. I'll let them come on and speak, and we'll be interactive with that. So we really
Now,
hope that you
let them
join us.
know, though, you know this, but they may not. Even if you're not on the call live, it doesn't matter to receive a message because, like I said to Sandra, there's a piece in it that may be for you, just like that John Edwards that wasn't live, you know what I mean? But I was there at the right time. I was meant to hear that. That was for me. And
Yeah.
the other thing with the healing, with quantum healing, you don't need to be live.
Yeah.
Like
you don't
the
need to.
intention is the healing will take place. So when you connect with it, you connect with it.
It's the stuff that's all here that connects us all, and so yeah, this is for anybody. So share this video. Daniela, would you drop the link to that video that you mentioned, and
Yes, I
I'll
will.
throw all the other links in just a short time so
Okay,
that
so I
people
can send it to you?
Yep.
The link?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Many blessings,
drop it in this
everyone.
video. Below the video here, drop that video link in there. And then in a little while, when I create that Zoom link, I'm going to drop that here. So if you're following, you just want to be able to go in, grab all the links that you need, and see us on Sunday. And there's more to come this month. We've got about, I think it's 7 providers so far this month. I don't know if I can do any more. So we're really happy that you're joining us, and we hope we can heal some hearts this season. Much
Let
love.
me know. Not